Well, it's time now for Down to Earth, our weekly segment focusing on the health of our planet. Today is World Oceans Day, a global event held every year on June 8th to raise awareness of the impact of human actions on the ocean. Illegal fishing is one of them, threatening entire marine ecosystems. Our Environment Editor Valerie Dekimpe joins me on set to talk about squid. Valerie, an investigation by non-profit Environment Justice Foundation reveals widespread environment destruction and human rights abuses across the global squid industry. Tell us about that.
Right, but first of all, Karis, a warning to our viewers, some of the content you're about to see can be disturbing as it contains animal cruelty. Now, the report exposes rampant environmental destruction in the high seas with fleets of vessels, mostly from China, but also Taiwan and South Korea, plundering ocean life with impunity. And the investigation draws on interviews with more than 400 fishermen, former fishermen, working on those vessels. They captured footage of what they witnessed on board. And those are some of the images that we were showing you now. What's important to understand is that in order to maximize their catch, these massive industrial fishing vessels remain at sea for months and sometimes even years, two uninterrupted years. And so what happens is that they offload their catch to smaller vessels that take that to port. And so that allows and sustains a system with potentially no oversight at all. And so you have illegal, unsustainable products that enter the supply chain as a result of that is called transshipment. And so imagine also the work conditions of people on board those vessels, completely cut off from the rest of the world for months and even years. And so there are also reports in that latest report published by Environmental Justice Foundation of forced labor, workers being beaten, starved. And so that is another element of this report. In terms of the environmental consequences, it's not just squid we're talking about. Fishermen also describe shark finning, also instances of animal cruelty towards dolphins, seals, sharks as well, and practices essentially fueling wildlife trafficking. And I want to show you a short clip of one of the fishermen interviewed as part of this report. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Dolphins make a sound when they're in pain. When they're caught on the fishing nets and alive and lifted on board, when they're processed alive, they scream. I couldn't stand seeing it.
And so, Valerie, where is this taking place, broadly speaking?
These are not isolated cases. I want to show you a map of the areas in question. So the report focuses on 3 unregulated regions: the Northwest Indian Ocean, the Southeast Pacific, and Southwest Atlantic, which collectively supply over 60% of the planet's squid. And so it is massive. It is ending on your plates every day if you do eat squid. And according to the investigation, the vast majority of those vessels are exploiting a regulatory vacuum, because we're talking about areas, vast geographical areas, essentially the Wild West of the high seas, with little to no oversight at all, because no single state holds exclusive rights over squid populations in the high seas. Fleets essentially are exploiting this lack of governance. And it is very hard to assess current squid stock populations because there is a lack of scientific data. But according to the NGO, based on what the fishermen are describing, we are looking at cases of overfishing, of overexploitation of resources. We spoke to Amelie Giardini, a campaigner at the Environmental Justice Foundation, and she told us about some of the techniques being used on board in order to fish, one of them being called light luring, with very bright lights being used to lure the squid. I want to show you a clip of our interview as well. Let's take a listen.
There are no limits in place, no quotas or limits on the size of squid. Squid are both important predators and prey for other species. They're in the middle of the food chain. These vessels are catching everything indiscriminately, even juveniles that won't reach reproductive age. This can have serious environmental consequences.
All right, so let's talk about potential solutions. What can be done to limit illegal squid fishing?
Right. Well, the NGO also included potential recommendations in their report, and Europe is the #1 importer of squid in the world. So European institutions, EU norms could have a major impact. They could play a major role in the way the squid market operates. And again, Aurélie Giordini had some thoughts about what exactly could be done in order to limit what's happening with squid. Take a listen.
When squid from these vessels enter the European market, they could be taken off the supermarket shelves. That can be done because we can control what we import. We should also create areas in the high seas overseen by conservation measures, because conservation measures do not exist for squid in particular. This has already been done for tuna in several regions around the world. We need the same thing for squid.
All right, Valerie, certainly a very disturbing report there coming out of that NGO. Thank you very much
Thank you,
for bringing
Karis.
it to us.